Okay, welcome back. Obviously, this is going to be the restore portion of the backup that we started from last time. So this is going to be a little bit shorter, but it's going to take a little bit more of simulation because we're in a virtual environment to get this up and running. So let's go ahead and get into this. Obviously, we're going to have to go over the concepts here. So if we're restoring something and we're doing a full backup, we're trying to restore it to its previous state. Obviously, what's happening here is we're trying to limit the damage that is done when server hardware goes down. So if we had to redo absolutely everything, so reinstall Windows Server and then do all of our users and do all of our groups and do all of our roles and do all of our services and then make sure that it all works, because it never works exactly how you think it's going to the first time that you do it. There's always mistakes. There's always troubleshooting time. You waste a lot of money doing that. Your time, your effort, your skill set is very expensive to the company. All right. So to avoid that problem, we have these backups, and that's what they're there for, to save time and money. So what we're going to do here is we're going to create an entirely new restore server, and then I'm going to restore with that backup that we did in the last video, and just to show you that yes, it is a completely new server, and then yes, it is completely the same settings, same passwords, same users, same groups. Okay, so we're going to call it restore server. All right, same setting as before. We're going to power on our restore server, and we're going to make sure that our backup disk is attached. If it's not, then obviously we don't have access to the backup file that we're going to need. So make sure that restore disk is attached. Okay, we're going to come down here to repair computer once you boot it into that ISO disk. We're going to go to troubleshoot, system recovery, and then it should auto-populate with the most recent backup. If it doesn't, you can come down to select a system image, and then if it's not there, then you have a different problem. But with that said, you hit that, make sure obviously hit next, but make sure it's the right one, then hit next. Okay, drives to restore, C drive, just make sure it's the C drive. This should auto-populate, but if it's not, then just make sure it's the right one. Okay, and then it's going to take a little bit to restore, and then you're going to be done. Okay, so with that, let's come over here. We're going to make a new server, so we're going to call this restore server. Okay, Windows server. Okay, right here is fine. We're going to come down here to Windows 2016. All right, we're going to create a drive. It's going to be 50 gigs like normal. All right, we're going to have to come to settings here, and then we're going to make sure that the drive is attached. So come over here to storage. Oh, we need to do our bootable disk as well. So there's that. And then come up to controller, new drive, not attached. We want server mirror, choose. There's that. Going to make sure everything else is correct. Processor. Again, you only need 2 here. Well, you probably could get away with 1 as well, but I have the cores, so I'm going to use them. Okay. System, motherboard, processor. Don't need floppy. Put that up here. Go away. Here we go. There's that. Display, we're good. We're good here. Network, that's going to change over. And if it doesn't, I'll come back and fix it. Okay, and now we're going to power this on. Okay, so this is where we go to restore your computer, troubleshoot, system recovery, auto-populated here. All right, next. Next. Make sure this is a C drive over here. And it is. Finish. Yes. All right, so this is going to take a little bit. All right, so we are done. Well, at least with this. So let's see what we have. Let's go ahead and open this up. Using the same password as before, notice that it's still Final Fantasy, and notice that it's still Administrator. So let's open this up. Server Manager. Let's wait for these services to load. And notice that we have the same services over here. Let's go to our users just to make sure that they're still there. Users and computers. Right here is Balthayer, Fran, Riona, Squall, and then our two groups. So this is looking like we have exactly the same server. Now I have noticed one thing that is not the same, and that's our network adapter down here. So let's go to settings. All right, change adapter options. Nope. Don't need advanced sharing. Not sure why. Let's go here. Network. Don't have permission. Okay, come down here. We're going to right click on this. We're going to go to network connections. Ethernet, Final Fantasy, looking good so far. Okay, that is what we were expecting. Okay, so the last thing that would cause this problem down here, like this, just says no internet. Actually, that might not be a problem at all. Let's pull up CMD. Here we go. Ping, we're going to do Squall. Ping 192.168.1.3. Okay, destination unreachable. Okay, so our network is not working. The last thing I'm going to check before I run out of the easy things is to make sure our adapter is exactly as we need it to be. So this is set to NAT. That's not going to work for us. We need internal network, and then finalfantasy.com. And for good measure, we're going to make sure that this works. Request timeout. Okay, so that's a step forward. Okay, request timeout. Can our clients get to the server? Ping 192.168.120. Okay, we got a reply here. Bahamut. Got a reply here. So DNS is working. It is relatively possible that there's a firewall blocking this. Okay, for good measure, I am going to restart these and to make sure that they still work. So I'm going to do this, wait for the restart to happen. And then what we're looking for is to make sure that our DHCP is still working for the clients, and then I can still communicate between the other clients as well. So let's give this a couple minutes. Okay, there's that one. That one. Hey. Here we go. And 4. Okay. CMD, IP config. Okay, Final Fantasy 1.2. That is working. So our DHCP is working. CMD. IP config 1.3. Okay, I'm going to ping Fiona. All right, so I do not have ping access at the very minimum to other clients. Can I ping both there? Okay, I cannot. That is a timeout. So one last thing that I'm going to check is to make sure that our file share is still working. So if I pull this up, come down to here, Bahamut, Riona, make something. Interesting. So I don't have the permission on here. So let's go back to the server. And this is why you test things, guys. Even though we did a full backup, it doesn't mean that it always works. So let's go back up here. There's that. I need this one. And then I need this. Shares. So Riona is there. Final Fantasy 8 is there. I don't see Squall. Oh, right. Squall storage is right there. Interesting. So let's test Squall. Squall. So this one is working. I am in Riona. Super interesting. Okay, so let's go over to Riona, see what type of permissions we have. Permissions. Share. Allow full control. This should work. Okay, Bahamut. Very interesting. Okay, so what happened there was I went to the Final Fantasy VIII storage, and if I did that, and I came into Riona, I don't have permissions here to do anything under this user, but if I go to Riona, which is the exact same spot, I have all the permissions I want. So I learned a thing right there. That is something that I will look into for the future, see if there's a better system to handle that. More than likely, it's an inheritance problem, but that's something for me to look forward to here when I have a little bit more time. But with that said, that's going to wrap it up for this video. It shows that we did install or restore from a backup, and that everything is working as we intended it to, or at least configured it to. So with that said, I'll see you in the next one.